Is bad. Be prepared for major disasters in these cities. This
Did you know there is a natural way to dissolve moles and dark spots that dermatologists are desperate to hide? Researchers at the
Constrained within the Romanian border for the foreseeable future, the Tate brothers continue to adapt to new challenges and press on with a never-ending battle.
I've been nice, I've been patient, I've played the game, I've respected the judiciary. The media is complicit. All of you are. When they first threw us in fucking jail, when they first put us in there, you're all running around saying human trafficker. None of you said, where's the evidence? Where's the proof? Where's the pictures? Where's the videos? None. 3 years later, they do the same fucking bullshit. This is a fucking setup. This is disgusting. Disgusting.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome to the show. We're going to talk about something which you all already know, but of course, the way I say it makes you understand it deeper than you previously did. That's perhaps my talent. I say things that everybody previously understood, but I say them in a way which hammers it home and gives you a new perspective. So everybody understands the sky is blue, but I explain the blue sky in a way which makes you appreciate it and understand it in a way perhaps you did not before. So we're going to talk about the importance of strength and why I, as an individual, have a deep disdain for weak people. I want to talk about this at length. I'm going to give you some personal stories. I'm going to explain how this can apply to your life. And we're going to explain why society as a whole is suffering from this plague, which is weakness. But before we do that, of course, the most important thing that happens on every single emergency meeting is Mr. Producer.
Mr. Producer, you make the best shows. Mr. Producer, you got all them moves. Mr. Producer, gonna break the feeling. Mr. Producer, do the emergency meeting.
So one of the best things about being rich is curating your life absolutely. And when you curate your life, by extension, you have to curate the people you spend time with. It's very difficult for you to keep the exact same people you currently spend time with and change your life. Because you either have to elevate these people along with you, many of which are not capable of elevation, or you would have to suppress certain qualities within these people, even if you believe it's for their own good, and you would be resented for it. So when you change your life, the people you spend time with has to change. But I will argue that when you become monumentally wealthy, and every single person who is tuning in right now, who is taking time out of their day to watch this emergency meeting, I believe has the potential to be extremely important and extremely wealthy. I believe in you because you're watching me, which means your mind is susceptible to my lessons. And I explain to you very openly and honestly how to win in the world, because I am a winner. A whole lot of people may not like me, but nobody can say I've lost. I have won. And these people know I have won, which is actually one of the primary reasons they pretend to dislike me. I'm going to talk about this and some energy absorption points later on. But initially, I want to explain, because people often ask me, Andrew, you grew up poor and now you're very rich. What's it like? And I can talk about how great it is to fly private, or how great it is to have supercars, and how great it is to not have to worry about money, and to view the world as free, to have a card that always works and everything is free all the time, to not look at the prices of things ever, to order whatever you want, any car, any item of clothing, any meal, and to not even look or know the price. But what truthfully is the best thing about being rich is you no longer have to interact with anybody you don't want to interact with, which means you can avoid a huge percentage of the population which are not capable of improving themselves or understanding you as a person. And we're going to talk about this when I talk about energy absorption, because a lot of the poor people deserve to be poor, unfortunately. But most importantly If you don't need other people, you can set standards that you can't when you are broke. When you are broke, you are forced to exist amongst people you don't want to exist amongst, to talk to people you do not particularly like, to work with people who do not agree with you. When you are poor, you are forced to interact. But when you become the A side of life, like me, when you're at the absolute upper echelon, you can set the world on fire and ignore them. It doesn't matter. Your money is secure. Your family is secure. Your life is secure. It doesn't matter how mad people get at you. And it doesn't matter that you do not interact with these people. So I have some standards for who I talk to and why. And one of those standards is in relation to strength. And I'm going to, from a position of authority, because I don't owe you any kind of explanation, explain to you why I do not like weak people. If you're weak and you're trying to get stronger, that's forgivable. But the people who remain weak or who pretend that physical strength is not important are the worst people. You know, we live in a world now where you're supposed to ignore basic pattern recognition. They encourage you to do this. You're not allowed to identify a pattern inside of your own mind because it goes against the slave mind programming. And the slave mind programming doesn't want you to have pattern recognition. It doesn't want you to accept that if you let go of a cup, it will fall to the ground because of gravity. If I drop my phone, it's going to fall to the ground because of gravity. How do I know that? Because every single time I've let go of my phone, it fell previously. So I've used previous data to come to a conclusion on how to predict the future. And you should do this with all things in your life, although it is heavily discouraged by the Matrix. So we're going to talk about what I have in my experiences from weak people, what happens when you interact with weak people, and what I would predict for the future based on my previous experiences. And I hope you can all learn something about this, and hope you can learn something and curate your circle and curate your life accordingly. The simple explanation for why I have a disdain for weak people is that they are liars. And anybody inside of your internal circle should never be a liar. You can have people who disagree with you. You can have people who perhaps do not share your worldview, but they should at least be honest, because lying is treachery. And weak people are always lying to themselves. So how can you expect them to tell you the truth? Let's analyze that again. If somebody is constantly lying to themselves, how can you expect them to be honest with you? They lie because their entire worldview and all of their self-esteem is built on a lie. Lies are all they know. Weak people will pretend that strength is not important. This is a huge leap. This takes incredible cope. They say, we don't live in the caveman days. You're right, we don't. It doesn't matter, but it does matter, and we're going to discuss why it matters. But the fact that they will bend reality to avoid them having to put in some effort is actually a huge red flag. So let's analyze this. I have a strong business partner. I have a weak business partner. Both of them don't try. Who is more honest to admit, who is more likely to be honest and admit to me they did not try? The person who understands that trying is necessary to yield results, the guy who goes to the gym every day, or the person who believes that you don't really need to try because it's not important. These people are fundamentally dishonest. When I see somebody who is not strong and not interested in getting strong, I know that their word doesn't mean anything because they've been lying to themselves their entire life. So I don't trust them. Another reason I do not trust them. Externally applied by your enemies, by the Matrix, and by life. Meaning they are likely to betray you. If your friend is strong and he is dragged into a police interview, he is less likely to bend, break, or sell you out than if he was weak, because a weak person is afraid of persecution. A weak person is afraid of consequences. They are afraid of going to jail. So a weak person is more likely to bend and break in the scenario in which they have to put their own personal liberty on the line to defend you, as opposed to a strong person. A strong person knows they can handle. They understand that being honorable will be rewarded karmically by God, and they can handle the consequences of doing that. If you can't handle the consequences of being honorable, how can you ever be expected to act honorably? So weak people are great when everything is great, but they are useless when times get hard. And ask yourself, do you want friends who are great when things are great, or do you want friends who are there when times are hard? If your life's already going well and everything's going great, what do you need them for? You want to go drinking? You want to party? You want to laugh? You want to be a bunch of clowns and achieve very little? Because when times are going well, when everything is perfect, that's when you enjoy the hedonistic side of life. You don't grow as a person. Often you don't achieve so much. You're only achieving and growing as a person during the most difficult times in your life. When things are going perfectly, that's when it's all just a clown show. Do you want friends who are capable clowns but are completely useless in a war? If you do, then perhaps you are that type of person, because birds of a feather flock together. If you're the kind of person who thinks it's okay to have friends which are only useful during the best times of your life for entertainment and provide no utility during the worst times in your life, then perhaps you are one of those types of people. I believe that my circle should be most useful to me and most loyal to me when the chips are down. When everything's going well, it's private jets, it's champagne, it's pretty girls, it's penthouses, it's Bugattis. That's great. I can do that by myself. When I need help is when I need friends. So I enjoy spending the good times with my friends because I know they would be there in the bad times. And you can't rely on weak people, because even if they have the best of intentions, even if they love you with all of their heart, their love means nothing, because external pressure will make them break. It doesn't matter how much they love you. It doesn't matter what their intention is. It doesn't matter what they promise. It doesn't matter what they say. All that matters is all of that will go out the window once they break, because they are weak. If a weak man says to you, "I got your back 100%, bro," he may mean it when he says it. He will convince you because he is not lying. But he is incapable of resisting pressure. So all of those words go out the window once he breaks. So when a weak person says something to you, you can ignore it. It's worth nothing. Every word that comes out of a weak person's mouth is a lie, because they've spent their entire life lying to themselves, and by extension, they're going to lie to you. Another reason I don't like weak people is they're broadcasting to the world that they lack discipline, because the great thing about strength is that it's actually very easy to achieve. You don't need any fancy program. You don't need any fancy lesson. You need to pick something up and put it down over and over until you project strength. Now, I will teach you how to get stronger inside the real world. We have a fitness campus. There's endless free YouTube videos. If you need more information, it exists. But this I need information, this feigned ignorance, is only an excuse for laziness and cowardice. Truthfully, anybody knows what it takes to get strong. So let's analyze as professionals. If everybody understands what it takes to get strong, and they understand that they are viewed differently for being strong, and that they are viewed in a positive light for being strong, and still refuses to become strong, they are telling you that they lack dedication, they lack the motivation required to do hard things, and that when the going gets tough, they quit. That's what they are saying to you, and you can instantly see it, whether they want to say it or not. That's what they broadcast permanently. It doesn't matter if it's a business discussion. It doesn't matter if it's a fitness discussion. It doesn't matter. When you see a big, strong man, you know he has at least the qualities of dedication. You know he is prepared to push past a certain point where most people would quit. You know he's the kind of person who understands how important it is to be seen in a certain way so they're protective of their reputation, that they're proud of themselves. If I was obese, saying the exact same things I was saying to you, you wouldn't listen. None of you would be on this emergency meeting listening to me if it was word for word the same if I was obese. You are here because you know I understand the tenets of strength and I understand the tenets of discipline. So these are people who are prepared to broadcast to the world that they lack discipline purely because they are so monumentally lazy or they are so afraid of difficulty that they would rather suffer that than fix the problem. What does that tell you about a potential business collaboration? What does that tell you about an FBI interrogation? What does that tell you about a nightclub combative situation? It tells you that these people are not going to be there when the going gets tough because everybody knows how to fix it. Strength is an important outward broadcast for every single man. And anybody who is weak has accepted how they are viewed because they are so monumentally lazy that they're not prepared to do what it takes. And they also try and cope for that and cover that up by lying to themselves. And if they are dishonest with themselves, they are going to be permanently dishonest with you. And that is why once I created my life to look for people around me who valued, coveted, worked towards strength, a lot of the treachery has disappeared. When I was in jail, nobody in my circle betrayed me. Nobody. Which is actually very rare. When a man gets arrested and 50 of his people are dragged into rooms and threatened with jail, someone usually bends and breaks. This happens in the mafia. This happens in the big criminal gangs. The baddest of the bad people, they find a rat. With me, they couldn't find a single rat. Because I have people around me I can trust. Which is also, because it's not just physical strength, we're also talking about mental strength. And I'm going to say something which is highly controversial. I know that's unlike me, but this is very important. If you have somebody in your circle that is struggling with an addiction, as a good friend, perhaps you can try and help them. But if they continue to struggle with this addiction, if their mind is so weak that they are controlled by this substance, whatever it is, will they sell you out for this substance sooner or later? Why are you trying to help this person and have this monumental liability near you? I say depression isn't real because I believe that. I don't believe depression is real because by believing in it, you give it power. If you say depression is a real thing, you can become depressed. Much like a ghost. If you're afraid of ghosts, you're afraid to be in a forest alone at night. If you don't believe in ghosts, you're not afraid to be in the forest because there's nothing to fear. I don't believe in depression. And I've had a more difficult life than all of the people I've ever met who told me they were depressed. Which is once again confirmed to me that depression is not real. And you cannot change my mind because I will not adhere to a mindset which weakens me. So I don't want to listen to people who are sad about how the world works. So depressed people can't convince me that it's real. These are weak people. If I had somebody near me who was depressed, could I trust them? Could I trust them if things got hard? Could I trust them with money? If somebody is so depressed that they refuse to get up and do the right things for their own life, do you think they're going to do the right things for me and my life and our mission? Can you trust somebody who cannot control their own mind? There are people out there which are so mentally weak, they will think of a thought and that thought will destroy them. They will have a thought that they create in their own mind themselves. It's in their head. And instead of turning it off or fixing it, they will allow it to fester to the point where their body and their life degrades. And they will be defeated by their own thought. Can you trust somebody who is that weak? When somebody near me says they're depressed, they have about a day to snap out of it. Because if there's someone around me who is depressed, I don't trust them anymore. Why would I want friends who aren't excited to stay alive? I mean, you're depressed. You want to jump off a building. What good are you to me? What good are you in a combat situation? You're ready to die anyway. You've already given up. I don't need those people, and I don't want those people. And by curating your life to only have strong people in it, not only do you remove many attack vectors, because I want to make this clear, on a long enough time frame, weakness will betray you. Every single time I have ever been too gracious to a weak person, I was betrayed. Just like I said, if I drop this phone, I know it will fall. If you are friends with somebody weak, they will betray you. And it doesn't matter what they have a weakness for. If they have a weakness for gambling, they will steal your money. If they have a weakness for women, they'll try and sleep with your ex. If they have a weakness because they're depressed, they're going to externally blame you and blame the entire world for their own lifestyle choices. If they have a physical weakness, then you cannot rely on them in a police interrogation or a combat situation. The easiest way to identify if somebody is going to betray you or not is simply based on, are they strong or weak? And this can also be extrapolated out to intention. This can also be extrapolated out to intention. So let's ask ourselves something important. Let's do a thought experiment. Let's pretend you had two friends. One was big and strong. One was small and weak. And both of them decided, for whatever reason, to betray or subvert you. The big strong man would be obvious about his intention and use his strength and power, because that's one of his moves. Inside of his poker deck, he has the, I'm big and strong, this is what I'm going to do, get over it. The weak man doesn't have that. So the weak man can only resort to treachery, to sneaky behavior, to hidden shadow intentions. Big, strong men can be honest because big, strong men are unafraid. So if I had a friend, I didn't want to be their friend anymore, I could sit and say, I don't want to be your friend anymore. Why? Because you're depressed and I don't trust you. Well, are you betraying me? You're not helping me with my depression? No, I am not. Please leave my house. I'll say it straight to your face. A weak person won't do that. A weak person will hide, lie, make up excuses. What is worse? If I told you that a tiger was going to attack you, would you rather see the tiger coming, even if it's big and strong, or for it to jump on your neck from behind as you go for a nice stroll out of the bushes? In which scenario do you stand a better chance, irregardless of the strength of the tiger? The thing that hurts you most is the thing you don't see coming. It's the same in boxing. It's not the hardest punch that knocks you out. It's the punch you don't see. Always has been, always will be. So weak people can never be honest because they don't have the capabilities to face the consequences of their own actions or the consequences of your reprisals. The only thing they can do is be sneaky. And when you only have one move on the chessboard, guess which move you're going to make. If you have a poker hand and you only have threes in the deck, you're going to play the threes. That's all you've got. Weak people only have sneaky subversion. That's all they've got. So they'll talk to your ex behind your back. They'll steal a little bit here. And when you confront them, they'll lie because they're afraid of you and your power. No, it wasn't like that. No. That's why you have to stay away from weak people. Even if they do the wrong thing by you, they don't do it in a transparent way. They do it in the most devious of ways. And once again, life is risk reward. As a professional, and I try and explain this to people all of the time, you have to make decisions for risk reward. If there is a 10% reward for said action and a 5% risk, then it's worth it. If there is a 4% reward and a 5% risk, it is not worth it. So risk reward, a weak friend is giving you what? Entertainment. Well, the world's pretty entertaining now. You have YouTube and Netflix and me on Rumble. You have Twitter. You have work to do inside of the real world. You should be very busy. You shouldn't need entertainment. So the reward is quite low, but the risk is monumental. Because if these people decide to betray you, you'll be monumentally surprised by how far a weak man will go for a little bit of money or a little bit of pussy. You'll be extremely surprised. Let me give you a scenario. You have a girlfriend. You have a weak friend who also has a girlfriend. And that weak friend, of course, because he's weak, is controlled by his girlfriend. Do you think he won't betray you because his girlfriend wants him to? What if his girlfriend is pressuring him to find out what you're doing behind your girlfriend's back? And she says, I will leave you if you don't tell me what he's up to. Can this weak person handle heartbreak? You see it all the time on the internet. You see men, full-grown men, crying their eyes out over a bitch, crying their eyes out over a woman, bawling like children. You think he's prepared to lose the woman that stops him from slitting his own wrists because he's a weakling to protect you? Let's imagine you're in business with this guy and his girlfriend and him start arguing. And she's his world because she's his world. You know those wife cucks. My world, my best friend. She's everything to him. And you need a very important thing done for the company. You need a report by Friday afternoon. And his girlfriend is bored. I'm bored. All you do is work. Take me out somewhere. I'm tired of this. All you do is work. Do you think he's going to choose work and your company or choose her? She isn't paying your bills. And if the company fails, she will leave him. But he will still pick her over your joint venture because he is weak, making him a bad business partner. When I see a man who's scared of his wife or is discussing problems he has with his wife or is complaining about issues from a girl, I start to become very worried about how much I can trust that man. Like, I'm not saying don't be in love. I'm in love right now. But if she fucks with me, bye. Because I'm a full-grown man. I'm not afraid of missing a girl. I don't want to get set on fire. I don't want to get shot in the head. You think I'm afraid of missing a girl? I'm going to sit there with a thought in my head, a missing thought, and it's going to beat me. I'm going to get up. I'm going to stay rich. I'm going to train. I'm going to drive fast cars. I'm going to become prime minister, and I'm going to win. And she's going to lose because I've never lost. She's broke. I'm up. That's why it's called broke up. You can't trust weak people with anything. And in the world we live in today, where trust is even more important than it's ever been, I don't understand why you would have weak friends. And by extension, by logical extension, why you would be prepared to be seen as weak, knowing that people who understand this about the world no longer trust you. Don't you, as a full-grown man, want to be seen as trustworthy? Let's analyze this. You walk in, your head's up, firm handshake. What is that all about? Well, that's about proving and trying to elicit trust. You want to be trusted. That's what business meetings are all about with the firm handshake. You don't give a little soppy handshake for a reason. You don't want to project weakness. Because weakness is known universally across all cultures, across all periods of time. Weakness was a bad thing. There has never been, until this modern world, which is, of course, inversed absolutely, and we're living in the age of Satan. There has never been, in any period of human history across any culture, where weak men were celebrated above the strong men, ever. It has never been respected. It has never been good, ever. And you're choosing that team. Why? Because you're tired. Because you're lazy. What does that tell me about you? That tells me I don't want to know you. And because I'm rich, I don't have to know you. People come to me all the time with business proposals, not understanding that once I see they're fat, I don't want to talk to them. I don't care how good your idea is. I don't care how smart you think you are. You're fat. You're allowed to be fat if you're old. You're a young, fat man. You can't be trusted. How can I trust you with my money if you can't stop putting hot dogs in your own face? How can I trust you with my money if you cannot resist ice cream? You're not trustworthy. You're showing the world you're not trustworthy. How are you going to run a business if you can't run on a fucking treadmill? And the worst thing is these people are prepared to live this way. Anything it takes to avoid the hard work. Anything it takes. All the bad, all the slander, all the jokes, all the bad impressions they give. Anything it takes to avoid the hard work. I mean, surely you want to have friends who are prepared to work hard, right? Surely you want to enter ventures with people who are prepared to dedicate themselves and do the difficult work. Surely. I mean, surely that's a bare minimum requirement. I would argue, over knowledge, you want intention and work ethic. If you said to me, Andrew, we have to do something difficult. We have to become marine biologists. This person is already a marine biologist or has a good knowledge of marine biology, but is overweight and lazy. This person knows nothing, but is a professional fighter and all he's ever known is hard work. I'd choose the hard worker. We can catch up on the knowledge. Over time, the hard work compounds. That's why I've never lost. I've launched companies I know nothing about. Elon has put rockets in space. He knew nothing about rockets, but he works hard. Hard work over knowledge in all ways, all the time. So when you find people who are not prepared to work hard, what does that say about them? Do you need them in your life at all, ever? Another great thing about curating your life and removing weak people is it raises the bare minimum standard of strength. Because you are the sum of the people you spend the most time with. And everything is an average. It's a medium. It's a mean. If you have 10 people, one of them is Andrew Tate, one of the strongest humans on the planet. And one of them is exceptionally weak. The average, the fifth person, the medium, the mean, perhaps is not that high. But if you have Andrew Tate and 9 other killers around him, now the average is much higher and harder to achieve and maintain. I train so hard because the people around me train so hard. If I was living in a house with 10 obese motherfuckers, I would feel better about not training as hard because I'm the best of that bunch. So it is a positive spiral, an upwards whirlwind. Everyone always talks about downward spirals in life and how easily it can all unravel. It can very easily all go right. It can upward spiral just the same. If you're prepared to work hard, never miss a chance, pay attention, dedicate yourself, remove the weak people, train hard, listen, don't be arrogant, don't be lazy, you'd be amazed how easy it is to win in this world. It's very easy to win. But instead, you're sitting around talking to a bunch of lazy, weak jackasses. And these people will never be there for you when it actually matters. And strength is one of the most coveted things on the planet because it's one of the only things you cannot fake. Even with steroids, which a lot of men take, and I'll be honest, I wish they didn't exist because my physique would be even more impressive because I look better than guys on steroids. And I'm not on steroids. And I'll do any test you want. And I'm saying it right here to camera. I've never touched steroids in my life and never needed to. And I will do any test you'd like me to do. But imagine steroids didn't exist, how much better my physique would be, because my physique is better than them anyway, without steroids. And the only people who can compete with me have to cheat chemically. I don't need to cheat. I just work hard. Every day, 7 days a week, no retreat, no surrender. As soon as I'm up, I train. Every single day. So steroids actually offend me. But you can't cheat strength. We're not at a point yet where surgery allows you to look like you've trained hard in the gym when you haven't. Women can get fake tits and they can change their faces, X, Y, Z. Us men can't. You can fake being smart. Most of you already do. If I were to get everyone watching this emergency meeting and say, put your hand up if you think you're smarter than average, all of you would put your hand up. Now, compared to the normal human population, you are, because you're watching the right show. But amongst the other viewers of this show, the law of averages insists that at least half of you are below average intelligence. But no one will admit that. And if I say to you, why do you think you're smart? You can rattle something off. You can lie and fake being smart. Perhaps you know something I don't know. Perhaps you are an expert on stamp collecting, and you ask me about a particular stamp from 1912. I don't know about that. So now you seem smart. You're actually a dipshit who knows about one stamp, but that's fine. You can fake that. You can fake being rich. You can get credit. You can save up a whole bunch of money all year and then go Saint-Tropez for 1 week and take a whole bunch of Instagram stories looking like you're rich and regurgitate them for the next 6 months of summer and convince girls you're something you're not. You can borrow money. I can give you $1 million and you can pretend you're rich and smart. But you can't pretend you're strong if you're not. You cannot pretend that belly away. It's there. You can't pretend it away. You can't lie your way out of it. You can't buy your way out of it. You can't pay someone else to go to the gym for you. It's you. Only you can fix that problem. Which is why it's so honest. Which is why it's so revered and respected. And it elicits envy. And this is one of the most important things about being strong, is that being strong in this world allows you to elicit envy from other people. And envy is an extremely important vibration. It's perhaps one of the most powerful vibrations. When people are jealous of you, it gives you power. And I'm going to explain to you exactly how this works. I'm going to read through a tweet I put out earlier today that explains why people being envious of you is such a superpower. Before that, I want to mention that inside of the War Room, we have 10 sigils. And the War Room sigils are based on the important things that every single War Room member needs to understand before they become a member. You don't necessarily have to be strong when you join, but you have to understand how strength matters in the way I've just explained. And you have to be trying your best to becoming stronger all of the time. That's what's so important about the War Room. What did I say earlier? If you increase the level of the people you spend time with, if you remove the weakness, are you truly prepared to be the only depressed person? If you go into the War Room and there's 5,000 members and you say, I'm depressed, and all 4,999 say depression isn't real, are you prepared to be the only depressed person? Because if you walk into therapy and say that, there's a bunch of losers around you. Whole bunch of other pussies. Everyone's going to say, I'm depressed too. A big pussy crybaby, let's all hug club. Not my club. In the War Room, we say that's not real and that's not allowed. Peer pressure in a positive direction for an upward spiral. So the first sigil of the War Room is understanding how being seen as strong and how working towards being strong and how judging people on their physical strength translates into success in this life.
The War Room is a community built upon a foundation. A fight gym with fundamental principles that dictate the style of each fighter. The 10 sigils of the War Room. The first being physical strength and health. Physical health is not only about strength, endurance, appearance, but the respect that comes with all of these qualities. Your physical health leaks into every single aspect of your life. It determines both the quality and quantity of your time. It determines the energy you have to give to your family, your friends, and your community. It reflects your mental fortitude. It reflects your commitment. It reflects the level of care you have not only for yourself, but the world at large. It is a symbol that you move the world instead of being moved by it. A mark that every member of the War Room is not only encouraged to wear, but demanded to wear. There is no excuse to stay weak. Inside of the War Room, you become strong, and you must stay strong for the entirety of your membership. You must stay strong for the entirety of your life. This is the War Room.
So the war room is based on strength because the war room is based on accountability and competence. It is also based on a brotherhood in which you can find solace. And weak people are of no use to anybody, and they cannot be trusted. It is for this reason that strength is the first sigil of the war room. And I'm going to be explaining the 10 sigils across the coming weeks so you understand. And if you were to pay attention to all of these emergency meetings and watch them in full and imagine having these 10 sigils applied to your life, it is very easy, even for the most rudimentary of imaginations, to see how fantastic life can be. It is why I pride myself permanently on my physical strength. I am pertinently and consciously aware all of the time about the fact that I am strong enough to crush a man's neck with my very large predatory hands. I think about this permanently. I can't imagine a world in which it is not inside of my conscious thinking all of the time. It's an option I always have. I always have the possibility of dealing with the man in front of me with brute force. And that elicits envy. And envy is one of the most powerful vibrations in the universe. Nikola Tesla says it. If you want to understand the secrets of the universe, look at it in terms of frequency and vibration. And envy is a very powerful vibration. We're going to talk about it now. I tweeted this earlier today. The energy of people can be stolen from them. If you make somebody angry so the energy of people can be stolen from them. If you make somebody angry so that they think about you while you refuse to think of them, haters convert calories into thoughts which have your name on them. They are giving you power. Haters feed. 10 million people I've never heard of say my name each day. It's probably much more, to be honest. This is immensely powerful. Everybody knows that guy who's just lucky, but nobody considers why. Why does he always win in the end? Why do all of these bad things end up helping this guy? How does he force the universe to provide consistently? My superpower is simple. It is very easy for me to make people envious of me. All of this false virtue hate is obviously seething jealousy. I'm big and I'm rich and I'm famous and I'm important and I'm adored, and people hate being so brutally demolished in the game of life. There are men who have dedicated their lives to an average woman to achieve 3 kids at best. I have 15 and they can't stand it. They cry, I don't raise my kids, because they can't imagine how easily you can raise a clan with my type of finance. How obedient females are when you're actually important. I was literally the most Googled man alive. I have world title belts from standing over demolished opponents. I have endless finance. The list goes on and on. People stare at me and see what they could have been if only they were a little braver. If only they didn't let their wives tell them what to do. My life highlights their brutal failures and they get furious. When their wife henpecks them, they think of me, and I never ever think of them. They feed me with energy. I am made of lightning. Universal life force comes from haters. Solicit envy and steal the souls of others. This is why warriors of old wore bright feathers and gold, to highlight their superiority, to make other men jealous. Jealousy from other men makes you powerful. My haters can't stand how popular I am, not understanding they are why I am popular. All of the energy they put into saying my name helps me. It always has. It always will. It doesn't matter if they say bad things about me. It matters that they talk about me. The secrets of the universe would be found by examining energy, frequency, and vibration, said Nikola Tesla. Envy is the most powerful vibration. You are winning and you focus on winning. Losers focus on you to help you win. I wake up each day more powerful than the day before. When I become prime minister and everybody seethes, they won't understand. They put me there. This is why I seem so lucky. Why do I put on muscle so easily without steroids? Why do I make money so easily? More than you can possibly imagine. because everybody is thinking about me all of the time. It sounds crazy, but are you smart enough to understand? I am on the mind of all of the world's females and endless haters 24/7. Tate, 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 Tate. I never think of them. I don't need to, because they work for me. I grow stronger. I am a storm far in the distance, fed by the evaporating dreams of jealous men. Men who are imagining an alternate universe in which they could match me in any realm, but they cannot, and they know it, and it angers them to their core. And the heat from their anger forces their souls to evaporate faster, and I absorb all of it. I grow stronger. I can tell you how any man can get attention from the world and how to harness it into fuel. My blood flows at 450 miles per hour. This is a scientific fact. You must know what I know to do what I can do. Think of all the scrolling you do, all of that energy you give away. Are the people you are watching thinking of you? Are they thinking of your name? You are failing yourself. There is a finite amount of human soul on the planet, and I have the soul of at least 50,000 men because they have given it to me. This is why when I speak, you feel it. 80 men's bodies I destroyed in the ring and stole their happiness forever. They'll never forget the day I beat them. The rest of the soul was given to me via the envy of peasants. I've told you the basic framework. You've heard it before. The law of attraction. But nobody has the truth besides me. I live it and I prove it. I am saving the intricacies for students willing to learn. If you want to learn the true secrets of universal life force, how to steal the souls of other men and become more powerful than ever before, you can read thewarroom.ag. I will test you, because I cannot teach everyone, and I need peasants to steal from. There is no light without dark, no joy without pain. There's no brilliance without mediocrity. I need people to lose so I can win. The masses of average, unimportant men are the feeding grounds for the elite few, the worms for the birds. They exist unhappy so I can know joy. This is how the world works. Have you ever seen one of those men who walks into the room and everyone stares even though he isn't doing anything? He is full to the brim of life force, and the empty vessels around him naturally gravitate to his power. That is why people cannot stop staring. He grows even more powerful as they stare at him. Look at all exchanges in life as energy transfers, especially arguments. You want to sit and argue with your woman for the next 3 hours, screaming at her for acting a fool. She owes you energy. She better give you the most aggressive blowjob you could think of, because she owes you energy. And I will teach you how this works. I will teach you how to win at life. I will teach you how to be hated and discussed and admired on the lips of every single person on the planet. The law of attraction on cocaine. If you want to learn, go to thewarroom.ag. This will go over some of your heads. Not all of you are ready for this. Not all of you are going to understand what I'm saying. But those of you whose minds are ready to be freed will know that this makes absolutely perfect sense. It is impossible for human beings to eat food and consume calories and to use those calories thinking of your name and for their body heat and their electromagnetic vibrations to be emitted out into the universe and for you to not absorb the ones that have your name on it to become stronger than you've ever been. That is physically impossible. I'll argue with any physicist. I will argue with any physicist that if 100 people are in a room thinking of my name, I am physically stronger. I've experienced it. This is why I only win. Because envy is the highest form of vibration. People look at my life and they see. They can't stand me. He's so big and he's rich and he's strong and he's accused of human trafficking, but all the important people still like him. And he made this video and look at this girl. And nobody cares. Everyone loves Tate. It's the Tate show. And they sit angry, bitter. And I win. So I poke them. I make them angry on purpose so that I can win even more. Like squeezing the juice from an orange. Most of you at home do not have men envious of you. If I saw your life, I would not envy it. I don't want to be you. I would feel unimportant and poor if I was you. But if people were envious of you, don't you remember that feeling when you were a child? Having the toy that everyone else wanted? Don't you remember that feeling inside of you when you had the toy the other kids wanted and you wouldn't give it to them? Don't you remember how powerful you felt? That's how I feel every day. And you don't get to feel that way because nobody wants what you have and nobody wants to be you. Because you can't do anything and you don't have anything which is unique and fantastic and valuable. You need to understand these things. And strength is one of the core tenets to elicit envy. I'm not envious of Bill Gates. He has more money than me, but he's a fat old nerd. I don't care. I will grab him, but I've told you about the strength in my hands. I can't be envious of something I could easily crush. Without strength, no man will ever envy you. So it's not only about creating your life to remove the weak links. It's about preparing yourself and putting yourself in a position where you can elicit envy. Let's once again analyze this tweet. And this time I'm going to add context to each point because it's extremely important. I understand now I'm only speaking to 10% of my audience. Ask yourself. Perhaps you don't believe this. You can log off. You can go. But for the 10% of you who believe what I am telling you, who understand how it feels to have other men jealous of you, who remembers how it feels to walk into the club with the hot girl and everyone stares at her and then stares at you and is jealous, who knows how it feels to drive past in a Lambo, to drive past the bus stop in a Lamborghini and watch everybody stare wishing their lives were different, to get the promotion when everyone else in the company didn't get a promotion. And they're furious and they're faking that they're happy for you. Well done, you deserve it. You remember? Do you know? Have you ever experienced that feeling? Imagine feeling that every single day. We're going to talk about this again. For those of you who understand, this is one of the most important emergency meetings I've ever done. The energy of people can be stolen from them. How do you steal people's energy? Now, what's very important about emergency meetings is I give you energy. This is a net negative for me. I have so much energy built up from all of these haters that I have some surplus that I can give you energy. I haven't read a single comment. I don't know what any of you are saying. I am giving you energy because at the end of this show, you will feel more powerful. Not me, you. Which is why you can never miss an emergency meeting. It's why they are so important. It's one of the only places you can come and get refilled with energy as opposed to giving your energy out. All the rest of the time on the internet, you're watching things and giving your energy away. I'm giving you some. And you know that's true. Because when this show is over, you'll feel motivated. So let me ask you. If you feel motivated after this show, doesn't that prove everything I just said about energy transfer is absolutely real? You can no longer deny anything I'm about to say to you because it's been conclusively proven and you have felt it yourself. If you make somebody angry so that they think about you while you refuse to think mad at you, it is very important that you ignore them. You blink and cure your brain. There are thousands of people right now on Twitter who are going through my entire life trying to slander me and keep typing my name out into the universe. And I don't give a fuck. And I don't read it. And I don't know who they are. And I never will. I will let them post endlessly the name Tate so I can grow powerful while I ignore them and do emergency meetings. That's why I'm going to win. Because they are giving me power. Haters are feeding me. 10 million people I've never heard of say my name each day. Probably more. This is immensely powerful. Electromagnetic vibrations I can detect and absorb. You can't say the name Tate without me feeling it. It's like everyone just flicking pennies into the air and they all land in my bank. Everybody knows a guy who's just lucky. Remember in high school, there was that guy who just seemed lucky, but everyone liked him. Everyone talked about him. Everybody looked at him while he walked. Remember him, the lucky guy? You never knew a lucky guy who nobody paid attention to, did you? You've never seen a guy who was ignored, who nobody paid attention to and nobody talked about, who was also very lucky. It seems to be only the guy who was discussed all the time and had everyone's attention was lucky. Now, is that coincidence? Is it causation? Is it correlation? Is it the fact that he is only lucky because he is discussed? Because he is admired? That's what gave him his luck. It is amazing to me that everybody knows a guy who is lucky, but nobody considers why. Nobody sits and says, this guy is lucky. Why is he lucky? The whys are the missing element to society today. Tate is so famous. Why? Everyone talks about the first point, including my haters. Everyone knows Tate and all these kids listen to him and he's bad. Why am I so famous? Is it because you're posting about me? Is it because you are eating food and bought an iPhone and pay an electricity bill so you can post about me? Is that why I'm so famous? I don't even know who you are. You're complaining that I'm famous and you don't want it to be true, but you're not smart enough to analyze why I'm famous as you spend your money and your time making everybody know my name. Work it out. How does he force the universe to provide so consistently? Well, my superpower is simple. It is very easy for me to make people envious of me. And when men are envious, they disguise it as hate. This is why men pretend to not like me. This is why men, false virtue garbage, pretend they are offended that I 10 years ago made a joke on the internet. They're not offended by their local drug dealers. They're not offended by murderers. They're not offended by Epstein. They're not offended by Gaza. They're not offended by all the people who are dying in Ukraine. They're offended by my joke from 10 years ago. And that's the only thing that truly bothers them. And it's definitely because they are morally perfect people. These people, as they jerk off to porn, as they lie, cheat, steal, like every human does, is offended by my joke. And it has nothing to do with a deep, seething jealousy. Anybody who believes that is a fool. These people are jealous of me. It is obvious, and it feels fucking great. On the days where the internet erupts with my old jokes are the best days of my life. I make more money. I get more email signups. I get more impressions. I feel fantastic. The only thing that would bother me is people not talking about me. But they can't help it because I make them envious. It is seething jealousy disguised as virtue. And it is so obvious. It is so obvious. Let me give you an example. You buy a Lambo. You get rich, you buy a Lambo. And a guy says to you, one of them stupid cars. I wouldn't buy one of them. They're impractical. I prefer just a normal car. He is lying. You know he's lying. He can't afford one. He is jealous. And he's pretending a Toyota is better than a Lambo because he can't afford what you have. Jealousy. And he's pretending he's a moral person who doesn't want to show off, which again is a lie. False virtue hidden behind seething jealousy. And people are jealous of me for a lot of reasons. One of them is my strength. If I was fat or weak, they would not be jealous of me, but they can't stand the fact that I'm rich. And I'm famous, and I'm important, and I'm adored. And on top of that all, I'm big and I can beat the shit out of them. They can't stand losing so brutally at the game of life. They can't stand having a guy who could kick their ass, who's more famous than them, who's smarter than them, more well-known than them, richer than they'll ever be. It bothers them to their core. No man likes to lose on that level. I was the most Googled man on the planet. Do you have any idea how much energy that is? How else could I possibly beat a criminal case in the most corrupt country in Europe without all of this energy? And we can analyze this as professionals from an outside perspective. Let's pretend you don't agree with or believe in anything I'm telling you. Then we can analyze this from a very logical standpoint. I'm trying to win the hardest possible difficulty in a criminal case. Corrupt prosecutor, corrupt country. Matrix attacks set up, global notoriety. Hardest mode, hardest version of a criminal case. If nobody talked about me or hated on me, I would be frustrated at the fact I have to go to court. It would be a boring inconvenience. But when all of my haters are posting how much they hope I go to jail, that makes me turn my A game on. That makes me think, everyone's still interested in this. Let me be funny on the way into court. Let me be funny on the way out. Let me get the whole news talking about me. Let me crack jokes in the court so the judge is smiling. Let me make the judge laugh. Because we all know I'm hilarious. Their hate helps me win. Even if you don't believe in the electromagnetic forces, even if you don't believe in those things, their hate helps me win. I need them to hate me. But they won't hate me if they're not envious of me. How many criminal cases are there currently on the planet? Endless. P. Diddy's in court. No one cares. They only care about me because they're not jealous of P. Diddy. They're jealous of me. This seething jealousy is so monumentally powerful, gentlemen. You can't get ahead without it. The fact I can fight, world title belt standing over demolished opponent, extremely important to elicit jealousy. Because men know that most things at the bottom line come down to violence. And they hate to admit that they don't stand a chance against another man. They like to cope and go, well, he may be a fighter, but I could. No, you couldn't. They hate that. The fact that I am rich, endless finance, allows me to purchase the time and energy of lesser humans. I can pay people to do things for me. I can pay someone to stand outside my house with a sign saying Andrew is great if I so choose. They hate that. Because money is how you measure the game of life, and I've won. I'm one of the top 0.00001%. I checked on ChatGPT. The AI, the Matrix, told me itself how unique I am. Less than 40,000 people on the planet have my money. And I started from nothing. So I have all the street lessons and the street mentality and the street strength with the finance of a child that's born into a banking dynasty, which gives me the best possible advantage. Because I have it all, like Blade, like a daywalker. Very few people went from the bottom to the top like me. You can be born into the top and you can be born at the bottom. But to transverse the various echelons of reality, like I have, is monumentally unique. When people stare at me, they see what they could have been if only they were a little bit braver. Brave to tell the truth. Everyone's telling the truth now, it's allowed. Oh, they're all tough guys on Twitter now. Oh, they're all moral, Christian, sticking up for the right thing. But when Kamala was in charge and everybody was getting banned, didn't say a word. They all shut up. They were all quiet as mice. When the fight was on, it was me and Tristan by ourselves. Everyone was fans of us then. They loved us. Soon as the jail breaks open, they're all tough guys. But when the real fight happened, they weren't there because they are weak, as we discussed earlier in this emergency meeting. Weak people you can never rely on in a fight. They're there for the good times, but weak people are never there when the going gets tough. They weren't prepared to go to jail. They weren't prepared to suffer like we have. They weren't prepared to lose their jobs. They were all quiet like mice. God knows this. They can try and fool you. They can try and fool themselves. They can tweet hate at me, but God knows this. And God will give them what they deserve, which is permanent. It seems to be a permanent, no matter how hard they try, invisibility. Nobody knows or cares about these people. They care about Andrew Tate. And that drives them even more insane, makes them even more jealous. And that jealousy results in their souls evaporating even faster, which is more soul for me. Universal life force comes from haters. I am made of lightning. I never ever think of them, but they think of me every day. There are people I don't know where they live. I don't know their names. I don't know what they look like, but they know my history, my past, my name, where I live, my criminal case, the days I go to court, who my girlfriends are, which kids I have. All they talk about is me. I don't know who these people are. Talk about a perfect energy exchange. If I know them and they say bad things about me, I might accidentally think of them back. That's an exchange. No, I love that I don't know these people. I don't want to know them. There's plenty of Twitter accounts tweeting about me. I don't have a fucking clue who these people are. And I'm not going to learn. Because I'm winning. If they truly wanted to damage me, they would never discuss me. Let me grow irrelevant. But they can't help it. Which is why I'm always going to win, because I can solicit envy and steal the souls of others. This is why warriors of old wore bright feathers or gold to highlight their superiority and make other men jealous. They'd wear a bright feather or a gold chain. Say, look what I have. Look at me. And other men would look at them and say, I want that. But you can't have it. You want my life and you can't have it. You want my views, you can't have them. You want my fame, you're never going to get it. You will never be more famous than me. If I go to jail for 100 years, I will still be more famous than you forever. You will never, ever surpass me in money or fame, ever. Ever. And jealousy from others makes you powerful. All the energy they put into saying my name helps me. It always has, and it always will. The only way you can damage me is to not mention me, and that's impossible for these people. It doesn't matter if they say bad things about me or good things about me, because the secrets of the universe can be found in examining energy, frequency, and vibration. Envy is the most powerful vibration. I will keep on winning, and I will focus only on winning, and the losers will focus on me, a winner, to help me win. This is why I wake up each day more powerful than the day before. This is how I keep winning in court. This is why I will beat this criminal case. This is why I will become the prime minister. This is why I am so famous. This is why I am so rich. This is why I am so strong. This is why we teach strength inside the war room. This is why every member of the war room benefits when he comes to the war room meetings and stands next to me and gains energy. And I gain energy from them because we are a team of winners. When I become prime minister, everybody will seethe and they won't understand. I'm only prime minister because you didn't want me to be. You kept tweeting how important it is that I'm not prime minister. You kept saying my name to the point that I took over. You put me there. This is why I seem so lucky. This is why I put on muscles so easily. Because I always have that little bit of energy to train a little bit more, knowing that my enemies are jealous of my physique. That's why I make money so easily. When you tweet bad things about me, people look me up and find the good things and end up joining Hustlers University. Everybody is thinking about me all the time. And I know it sounds crazy, but the smart ones of you understand this. I am on the mind of every beautiful woman on the planet. Every single beautiful girl you see on Instagram. 100% of all of the eligible, beautiful, fertile women on this planet know my name. All. There is not a single beautiful female from Ulaanbaatar to Utah who does not know the name Andrew Tate. Every single one, blonde, brunette, big tits, big ass, from 18 to 30, every single beautiful woman knows my name. And if you go on a date with any pretty girl, I guarantee you if she could press a button and swap you for me, she would. She would press a button and you would vanish and I would appear. I am the dream of every fertile female alive. And they all know exactly who I am. Do you have any idea how much power that gives a man? Or about the haters, 24/7, analyzing my entire life. Tate. This is why the women know who I am. This is the point. I don't think of these women. I don't know these women's names. I don't need to. I know that if I go into any establishment, Sardinia, Dubai, Milan, Helsinki, I will leave with the baddest girl. If I want to, I just point and it's over. How can you not want that level of power as a full-grown man? Because you won't get it for money. You can pull up to the baddest club with a Lambo and buy a bunch of bottles like these crypto kids. Girls don't care. But they care about me because they can feel a vacuum. When I walk into the club, there is a change in the atmospheric pressure. And something just implores their neck to stare in my direction, praying for the point. That's the life you should want to live as a man. Anything less is failure. Anything less is failure. I couldn't possibly stand living as a man as anything less than that. I am a winner and I want to win. I want the best human experience, and I am prepared to suffer for it because I understand there's no light without dark. Thank God I went to jail. Thank God they arrested me. Thank God they're trying to put me in jail now in a criminal case. I cannot wait to win or lose because all of this results in me becoming more famous and more respected on the back of my suffering. All of it. Every single time something bad happens to me, more beautiful women message me telling me how proud they are of me, even though they've never met me, and how admirable I am for showing strength. There is no dark without light, and there's no light without dark. The difference between you and I is I've been prepared to suffer to be this man. That's why I was prepared to do the weights in the gym to get strong. If you're not prepared to train, how can you suffer at this level to become the kind of man I am? This is the only life worth living, gentlemen. Anything less than this is failure. The fact that you're going to go on a date with a girl from Instagram and she doesn't even want you, the only reason she's with you is because I won't reply, should bother you in your soul. You shouldn't be able to date women at all. To sit there and know that you are second choice to a man who she is messaging, guaranteed, who doesn't reply. I am a storm far in the distance, fed by the evaporating dreams of jealous men. Men who are imagining in an alternate universe where they could match me in any realm, but they can't, and they know it, and it angers them to their core, and the anger forces their souls to evaporate faster, and I absorb it, and I grow stronger. And I will teach you all of this. This is actually the big secret of what the war room is. People say to me, but I can make money in Hustlers University. Why do I need the war room? Because the war room teaches you the secrets of the universe. And the war room forces you via peer pressure, via affiliation, via group standards to do the right thing so that you can once again win. There is more to life than simply making some money. Money is easy. Everyone should be a millionaire. Money is easy. There's so much more. There's so many hidden levels to this world. People will talk about Satanists, talk about this rituals they're doing with blood sacrifices, etc. You think these people don't understand something? There are so many levels to the world that you do not consider or think about or understand. That's what the war room is. We will teach you the light. The Satanists are the dark. We are the light. Because there is no light without dark. If the Satanists have rituals that make them powerful, the ones who are good, who defend society, who do the right things and defend their families, also have rituals which make them powerful. And you do not consider, understand, or implement these rituals. And you wonder why you permanently fail. I could tell any man how to get attention from the world and how to harness it into fuel. My blood flows at 450 miles per hour. This is a scientific fact. And your blood will not speed up through your veins until you know what I know. To do what I can do. If you sit in front of a microphone with no script for an hour and 12 minutes and just talk from your heart, nobody will listen. I don't have news articles. I don't have a script. I just sit down and talk about things I know. Because I have the souls of 50,000 men. You don't. So when you speak, men don't care. When you speak, women don't care. Nobody cares. You're invisible. Why would you want to live your life as a full-grown man and when you talk, nobody cares? When I talk, people listen. When I yell, people are afraid. When I give a woman a compliment, her heart is mine. When I give a man a promise, the business is done. You don't have these powers. You can promise a girl how much you're going to take care of her, and her heart is still not yours. You can promise a man how hard you'll work. The business still isn't yours. You can threaten a man's life. He will laugh in your face. And you just, what? You just accept that? That's how you're going to live? I speak reality into existence. I say to a girl, you love me now. I'll take care of you. And it's done. I say to a man, we're going to make $100 million. And it is done. How much energy are you giving away each day? You are scrolling X, scrolling Instagram. You're looking at girls on Instagram who wouldn't give a shit if you died. They don't know your name. They don't care about you. And you are staring at their pictures, giving them energy. You are making them more beautiful so they can end up with a man like me. Why are you liking her posts and looking at her pictures and making her more beautiful so I can take her? You shouldn't be interested in women who are not interested in you. There is a finite amount of human soul on the planet, and you are failing yourself because you're giving your soul away when you need to be taking the souls of others. I don't know how else to make you guys understand that my monumental success is built on the back of peasant envy. All of the angry, angry little peasants and their envious, jealous snides hidden behind a curtain of false virtue makes me more powerful than ever. This is a framework that I've explained, and you've heard it before, the law of attraction. But it's deeper than this. There's more I need to teach you about universal life force. How to steal the souls of other men and become more powerful than ever before. There's no brilliance without mediocrity. There must be worms for the birds. There must be unhappy men so that a few can know joy. This is how the world works. It's how capitalism works. It's how everything's always worked. There are a few kings and a bunch of peasants. You must decide which team you want to be on. How can you be a king without ruling over peasants? Logic test. You want to be a king, then you need to rule over peasants. You need to have a lot of people underneath you as an individual to be a king. You need to have 100 people obsessed with you while you do not obsess with them for you to be a king. This is pure logic. You can't be a king over one person, and you can't be a king by yourself. You're a king if a lot more people, by a factor of 100, care about you than you care about. This is the basic premise, the prerequisite for royalty. This is how you know joy. The reason you're sad is because you don't have what I have. If you woke up with my capability one day, any woman, any car, money, fame, the BBC, CNN, everyone in the world asking your opinion all the time, everyone interested in what you do. If you go to the gym and lift weights, nobody cares. I go to the gym and lift weights, 10 million views. Just lifting weights. We're both doing the same thing, but me, I get attention, energy, focus. You get nothing. You go gym every day. Who watches? Nobody. Who watches your workout videos? Nobody. Who watches mine? Everyone. And they write under it, he's a loser. Because they can't stand how good I look. They can't stand it. They can't stand how sexy I am. They can't stand how much I win. I am full to the brim with life force that I have stolen from these people. Because they watch me and they get bitter and they get sad and then they scroll off of me and they sit there semi-depressed watching TV. Because I stole their motivation. I stole their energy. They don't watch me and go to the gym. They don't see me do fantastic and then go train. They see me do fantastic and go, I hate this guy, and then watch TV because I took all their energy. I took all their motivation. I took all of it. It's all mine now. And I train even harder. This is why I grow more powerful. It's why people can't stop staring. I will teach you how all of this works. The law of attraction on cocaine. I will teach all of you inside of the war room. But I can only teach you if you understand me. I can only teach you if you are prepared to do the difficult things which must be done for you to win. You have a limit. We will find it and we will push you beyond it. It is 2025. This will be a transformative year. Perhaps the most important year of your life. I have a strong suspicion when you're an old man and think back on your life and tell your best ever story. Your grandchildren will ask you, when did that happen? You're going to say 2025. It happened in 2025, the best year of your life. But your life will not be as good as it could be unless you learn to harness the energy from others. Until you learn to do the difficult things and get envious peasants to feed your soul. And we will teach you how inside of the war room.
A lot of guys, when they come to these events, they see training, they're going to learn how to fight, I'm going to learn some new moves. It's not about that. It's about breaking you down. It's about you finding your own personal limits.
61, 62, 63.
And learning how to push beyond them.